This game stands in such a unique spot in the co-op genre, blending companionship, trust, and cooperative gameplay experiences from your gameplay partner into its narrative. The mini-games you play throughout the game aren't without purpose. They are placed to make you grow attached to the character you chose and to the play session you're having with your partner. All of this culminates in an ending that, if all the elements clicked for you, can really hit you hard. This game has all those elements in the way each level splits responsibility and abilities between both players to promote and encourage various types of co-op experiences. The visuals are stunning, the character work is cute, and the setting is interesting, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm going to be exploring the fantastical yet down-to-earth nature of a couple in the limbo of love with It Takes Two. Spoilers ahead. One important aspect of game design to touch is how the story being portrayed overlaps and interacts with the various systems. Without any connection at all, you can risk people feeling like they're merely playing a separate game with a movie split into cutscenes throughout. Every action done, every cutscene, every location all has a place in the story. The shed with one character getting nails to throw and the other a hammerhead to swing on thrown nails like a jungle gym. Or the garden with one character being able to transform and the other getting tools of gardening destruction. Each level has a reason to be giving you the abilities you have. The characters have to tackle their insecurities and problems, so you are given powers that are related to those struggles. Like Cody, the husband, at one point getting the power to rewind time because of the problems he has with his wife May and not having enough time. Or May, who is frustrated with what's being expected of her because she can't be in two places at once, so she is given the power to place clones and recall to past locations. Almost all of the powers each character gets is thematic and helps establish the themes being presented at different points in the game. I think the best thing this game does is keep up the pace in its gameplay. You're constantly being shown new worlds, given new abilities, all without any downtime. The narrative decision to turn both of the parents into dolls was a really fun change, as they now fit into the altered world they are now stuck in. There was also some decent humor throughout. I was never laughing out loud or anything, but for the most part I never felt like the game had bad humor. One part of the game I thought was pretty cute and clever was the treehouse set of levels with the squirrel militant group that wanted to exterminate the wasps. Their designs and personalities were fun, and the levels themselves had some fun squirrel mad scientist stuff that was fun to see. But my favorite level by far, surprisingly, was the little kid ball pit type world. The raw amount of puzzle variety was insane, with almost every puzzle utilizing some unique mechanics to solve them. Though for the game as a whole, I did wish that the puzzles were a bit harder, because for most of them it only took me and my friend a couple minutes at most to solve them. It's not a huge issue, just something I wish the game would have focused on a bit more. Also, compared to A Way Out, this game was a lot longer than I expected. It took me around 12 to 13 hours to beat the game, and for the most part that was with speed running through everything. If you go slow and just take everything in, then you'll probably get a couple more hours out of this game than I did. It's great to see a game like this really feel like a full experience and not something that ends too soon. I can't praise the gameplay enough. There were so many different ideas that it didn't matter if a world or two had a lackluster set of mechanics, because within time new ones were introduced before anything started to drag. The best part is that the strong gameplay services the story as well, since everything you're doing is meant to push the two characters closer together, and you can really see their progression through their teamwork. Now, there is one part of the game that did disappoint me a bit, and that's the story. I would say this is an average, if not slightly below average story. Two characters, Cody and May, husband and wife, have been having trouble for years and decide to have a divorce. This hits their child Rose very hard, and because of her sadness, both parents become dolls created by her. To return to normal, they have to follow the directions of the talking book Dr. Hakim and repair their relationship. As a premise, I'm with it. I understand where it's going, but I kinda just said all there is to the story. Each of the various levels or locations have a premise of some kind related to fixing their relationship. For example, Cody and May go to clean up the infestation from Cody's garden to help reignite his passion for gardening. So most of the levels play out the same story-wise. Both characters have a goal to accomplish for the level, which will in turn bring them closer to reconciling with each other. But I wish there was something more. The relationship problems were relatively simple. Neither character is all that complex, and aside from the challenges presented by Dr. Hakim, not much strong conflict ends up arising between them. As characters, I do think their personalities are good, and the voice acting for the game was great. I just would have hoped the story would have pushed itself more than just being okay. If I rated the story by itself, I would give it around a 5. Like I said, it's not awful, just kind of bland. The gameplay elements tying into it definitely help, but it doesn't really change my thoughts that what story was being told didn't grab me anywhere near as much as the gameplay itself did. What I would have hoped for in a story like this, at the very least, for a bit more nuance. For example, there's a part in the game where the couple is talking to Dr. Hakim, and they tell him that sometimes people drift apart, that not all relationships work out, and that's okay. You don't even have to hate someone to decide they are just no longer the one for them. But the message of this game is that love can and should be rekindled, or at the very least, that's what the game ultimately leads up to, whether it makes a statement on what should or should not be. That a relationship can improve and that couples should try to sort things out. That by itself isn't a bad bad message, especially when a lot of the issues they have with one another were things they could sort out by talking. The problem I have, and I admit this could be only a me thing, is that part of me felt like the story was trying to say it's better for two people to stay together and try to make things work, and you shouldn't try to separate. I'm not trying to preach about what I think is and isn't right, but the game doesn't really take a divorce with as much nuance as I would have liked. When two people want to separate, especially when kids are involved, it's a messy situation. Part of this issue seems to stem from the game trying to appeal to a wide audience, so they wanted something a kid could grapple with and understand. But I feel that the desire to make a story about two people wanting a divorce coming together to rekindle the relationship that appeals to everyone ultimately knocks down the quality of the story. But this is by no means a bad game. The gameplay alone made this a fun experience, though personally A Way Out is more my taste. Hazelight Studios really knows how to take the idea of co-op and turn it into something special. Whatever project they work on next will hopefully be just as unique as the others they've worked on. If you like this video, check out the playlist for more videos like this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time.